Hey folks, welcome back. Short version is today we're going to be playing Hooked on You. It's a Dead by Daylight dating sim. I actually really like Dead by Daylight. I haven't played it in a while, but back when I was into it, I played quite a lot of it. Someone got me this because I think I basically said, yeah, if you buy me this game, I'll play it. And then they went and bought it for me, so now I'm legally obligated to stream it. You're welcome. You know who you are. You're also probably the one person who will watch this stream. Yeah, so it's a visual novel / dating sim thing, apparently. We'll see how this goes. As always, please let me know if in either the live chat or the comments how the volume and stuff is. I'm still tweaking this. Just got the new mic. But yeah, that's really all there is to it. Let's get into it and play a genre of game that I'm not sure. New file. What should you call me? No, we won't do that. You know what we do? You know what? This is payback. You know who you are. You know what you did 8 years ago, naming your Undertale character. Have I held a grudge for this long? Yes. Alright, this is taking a hot moment to load, actually. This is a visual novel, alright? Let's go. You wake up on the beach, soaking wet, salt water stinging the inside of your throat as if you'd nearly drowned. Water falls from your mouth as you open it up to gasp for air. You've no memory of how you got here. In fact, you can only remember your own name, but not where you came from or a single fact about your life. What you do know is that despite the outrageous beauty of the landscape around you, you feel incredibly sick to your stomach. Wow. Really went down the wrong pipe, huh? You need a minute, or can I go on? Because I can give you a minute. We've got plenty of time. Endless time, really. An eternity, if you catch my drift. Whoa, not now, Ocean. Sorry, Kyle. May I continue? Please, go on. Okay, then. As I was saying... You look down at your feet, ankle deep in the crystal blue water of a newly arrived wave. As the water recedes back into the ocean, it reveals a grotesque discovery. A decomposing face stares up at you from beneath the sand. All you can do is vomit, a stream of dark bile, bugs, worms, and other ick. Questions race through your mind. Where are you? How did you get here? Who's behind this incredibly charming and well-spoken voice in your head? However, the answers don't come easy. Your mind is completely blank. What will you do? I want to take a look at this head. Dig up that face. You brush the sand away from the half-buried human head embedded in the ground before you. There is no body, just this head. As you pick it up, flakes of skin fall to the ground. The jaw falls open, revealing a gold coin sitting on the rotting tongue of this poor dead soul. Getting your hands dirty. See, I like that. You're a take charge type. Should I do a different voice for the ocean? You examine the gold coin briefly, happily distracted from what has other been an extremely confusing morning. Sun beats down on you, drying your clothes. You check your pockets, but they're empty. Plenty of room for a gold coin, you suppose, and so you deposit it. That's a nice coin you've got there. What if you were to spend it right now? Why not? Hello there, I'm Dwight. And I'm Claudette. We'll take that. And this is for you. What do I get? What? When you take a sip, you find it's incredible. Money well spent in your estimation. But I ought to ask, could maybe somebody design the next one of these dating sims to be all-inclusive? It really takes some of the fun out of a fantasy vacation to be watching your wallet the entire time. Thank them for the delicious drink, or this is suspicious, spit that out. Free drink, I'm very confused. It's normal to be thanked for doing a good job. Trust me on this one. Volleyball, alright. Find a volleyball sitting in the sand next to you. You stare, down, frozen. A voice calls out from behind you. Little help, please. You turn around, and when you see what's waiting for you, your jaw just about hits the ground. Interesting. So we have the Huntress. We have the Wraith. Let's see. Spectre? I don't remember her name. I know the characters and Trapper. So I know, like I said, I've played a fair amount of DBD, and I know these characters, I know their lore. 4 gorgeous monsters stand halfway between you and a well-tended volleyball court. Each of them oozes with undead energy, a magical aura reaching out and penetrating you via your eyes. Your heart begins to race. Curiosity, fear, desire. You can't help but stare at these casually dressed, let's call them killers. I don't know, not to be judgmental, but that's just kind of the energy they put out there. So many competing feelings rush through your mind at once that you are completely paralyzed. Hello? There are weird days, and then there's this. All you can do is look down at the ball and back up at this monstrous lineup of, well, literal monsters. Sexy-ass monsters, though. I probably should have looked to see if you can actually play this game on stream. What do you do? Toss it back, kick it back. Say nothing, do nothing. Toss it back. You bend down and grab the ball, swarm from sitting in the sand on this beautiful day. You give the ball a toss, it arcs beautifully through the air and lands right in the Huntress's hands. Not bad, stranger. Huntress's muscles ripple as she grabs it in her hand. You look her up and down and consider what it might be like to be held tightly in those strong arms. Warm, perhaps. Maybe a little sweaty, but that's okay. It's natural. I really should check to see. Try hard much? Bleh. They're speaking to you, but you still can't bring yourself to reply. You're entranced. When you snap out of it, you realize everyone has gone back to the volleyball court. Alone, you look across the beach at these strange residents who casually bat a volleyball back and forth, happily ignoring your intrusion on it to their private beach. Should you be frightened, worried, excited? I need to refer to them as killers, not to give too much away. But at the same time, damn, they are looking very appealing in their own way, and nobody so much as lifted a blood-soaked finger in your direction. Don't be scared, Kyle. You were made for this. Well, geez, if the spooky ocean voice says not to be scared, I'm sure it's all going to work out. No good reason not to. You decide to head over and see what happens next. So I want to check one thing really quick in the settings, just to make sure. I'm assuming that this isn't... Okay, so I don't see like a sensor filter. Worst case scenario, I just take the stream down. I'm realizing that I didn't actually check to see if this game has, you know, 1 second. What is this? Let me go take a quick... I'm just going to take a very quick look through the... bitter loathing, just like real dating. Blah, 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 blah. Violent language, crude humor, sexual humor, violence against non-humans. Never depicted rare, swearing and bloody imagery. Okay, so I think we're good. It doesn't look like there's anything in it. You derailed the game just by showing up, nitwit. And I guess you're also a nitwit. Look, it's best to just go with the Trapper says when he says it. That's a policy I hold for pretty much anybody who always seems to have fresh blood on their hands. Hey, don't worry about it. It's just a game. Existence, that is. Besides, you seem a lot more interesting than just a silly game. What's your deal? What brings you here? You mean they're here to do more than distract from my total domination? Deep sigh. That was the Wraith. That sigh means he was done with the game too. Either that or he saw a butterfly or something. Look, I don't care why this slack-jawed moron is here. I just want to know, can I kill them or not? You know you can't. At least not yet. Oh yeah, not yet. Hey Kyle, you might want to, you know, say something. Actually, never mind. There'll be plenty of time for that soon enough. Right now, this group has some questions for you. But be warned, answer quickly and answer well. This is a timed quiz and it will be important later. Very important. Or not important in any way whatsoever. Probably that one. I can't remember. How attractive would you say you are? Average. There's another face in the crowd, another normal, meaningless life in an endless cycle. I think you're so quite cute myself, like a chipmunk or a grizzly bear. I can't do voices for the women, so I'm not even going to try, to be honest here, guys. If you could have any superpower, what would it be? That's super strength. Super strength would be cool. Strength isn't all about muscles. True strength is up here. You expect Trapper to point to his head, but instead he taps one of his bulging shoulders. It's specifically in these muscles. Nobody gives a shit about your calves. What was your best subject in school? I will say... I'll say math, because it definitely wasn't. Favorite animal? It's not clams. I will say cat. What? Why is everybody looking at me? You think just because I'm the typical cute goth girl, I have some sort of specific love of all things cats, more specifically black cats? Well, I do, but you could all go to hell anyway. What's your favorite color? Blue. Blue isn't good for productivity. Makes people want to be lazy. What's your dream job? That's easy. We get to do what we really want. Why work at all? Takes a lot of courage to break free from society's expectations to climb the ladder. Only she could spin laziness into some kind of grand crusade. These damn millennials. Best flavor of ice cream. Fucking... where the fuck's mint chocolate chip? I guess we'll go with chocolate. My favorite flavor is pain. Same. Same here. Mine is vanilla, swirled with pain. That's not an ice cream flavor. The narrator agrees with me. I think mint chip is the greatest flavor ever conceived. But enough about ice cream, am I right? See? See? I'm right. Hold on a second. This reminds me. I am right. Always. It's a lesson you should learn before we go too much further. Do what I say if you want to survive. Pink mint chip. We're teaching lessons now, narrator. You rascal. Kill or be killed is the rule on this island. Even for faceless voices. Tell me, what's the best flavor of ice cream? I'll say mint chip, because it's mint chip. Anyhow, now that they know so much about you, I'm sure the group wants to start getting you to know them. I'm the Trapper. I pretty much run things around here. I'm the smartest, richest, strongest person on the whole island. I don't like losers. If you want to know what a loser is, say hello to Wraith. Hi, I'm Wraith. I'm nothing like everybody else. I like nice people and loathe big dumb idiots. Hey, what's up? I'm Spirit. I don't like most things. I don't really hate most things either. It's just not worth my time. But the things I do hate, I really hate, you know? Based on my personal observations, life is nothing but suffering, and society is a carefully calculated lie to keep everyone subservient to those in power. It's better to choose to just not take part. Jeez, it's like she was downright murdered by society. She hates it so much. Alright, so in a second I'm gonna go over the lore for each of these characters real quick, because I do remember it, and if you're not me, it might make this game... Oh no, wait, I'm remembering Spirit's story now, and that's almost exactly what happened. Hey, I'm Huntress. Don't let those bummers get you down. There's lots of fun to be had on this island, along with lots of love. I can't help but notice you're carrying a giant axe. Yeah, there is, if you know what I mean. Grow up. Grow a body. I've explained this 1,000 times. I'm dead, but I'm not a literal ghost. I just create a trail of fog. I'm not made of it. Whatever, fog body. It's not nice. He's not nice. You love it. Only sometimes. Ew, really? That's disgusting. That's why she likes it. Don't speak for me. I also hate it. Stop speaking entirely, actually. For the first time ever, I agree with Wraith. Let's move on, otherwise they do this all day. Okay, so I'm just going to go over the lore for these really quick, because if you haven't played the game, it'll probably come out like later as we do it, but it might be helpful for it. So, Trapper. I'm just going to see what I can do for memory for these guys. So if I remember correctly, the Trapper was the head of like a fairly big estate. His father ends up paralyzed, and he slowly takes over more and more work from his father. I don't remember what exactly is the impetus that drives him to end up being a killer, but at some point he basically turns his house, I think, that he lives in, into like a death trap, right? And it's unclear. I think it's the old McLaurin estate. I don't remember what the impetus is for him to get dragged into the fog or become a killer. I think it might have been dealing with strikers that worked in a mine that his family owned. Wraith is a immigrant to America who basically I believe he's from Africa originally. I will honestly have to double check his lore, and I apologize if I got that wrong. But he's an immigrant. He comes to America basically to escape having to deal with all the bullshit, and he ends up working at a car junkyard, right? Where he doesn't have to like fight anybody or do anything. And it turns out that the whole time he's been working at the junkyard, like one time he opens up he's like, he hears something in one of the cars that he's supposed to be using the crusher on. It just turns into like a little metal cube, opens up the back, and he finds somebody bound and gagged in the back. He's like, oh shit, he gets them out. They try to run away, and then his boss shoots them, throws them back in the trunk. And Wraith realizes that he's basically been just used at this junkyard as an executioner the whole time. So he, I think he pulls up a part from a carburetor, actually, brains his boss to death, and basically sort of disappears from there on out, right? Excuse me. The Spirit is Japanese. I believe she's like a Japanese girl attending high school. Her father loses his job, goes insane, comes home, picks up like a sword that the family has, and hacks his wife to death. Hacks her mostly to death. As she's trying to flee her father and run out, she smashes through a bunch of glass. That's why you can still see it embedded in her body. And is killed by her own father, and I believe it's vengeance and stuff like that. As it's not clear to me why she comes back or is still alive or becomes a killer. If it's just a sense of vengeance, or if her character trope is just based off of things like The Ring, stuff like that. But the end result is that she comes back after all of it. And then finally, Huntress. I'm going to mangle Huntress's lore a little bit, but the short version is orphan that's raised by her mother in the wilderness in Russia. Her mother dies at one point to like a moose when she's still fairly young. She basically grows up and survives on her own completely in the wilderness. Ends up getting sort of fascinated, like, so occasionally settlers and stuff come by. She's just a hunter, right? That's why she's the Huntress. She's fascinated by things like that, so she will kill settlers, kill people who come by just because she finds them interesting, but she'll never kill, like, little girls. She'll kidnap them, bring them back to her house, and she tries to, like, feed them and take care of them, but she doesn't really know how. Also, they're, like, you know, traumatized from having their family killed in front of them, and so they seem to always just waste away around her. And she's always singing a little lullaby. That's actually one of her mechanics in the game. So now we've covered all of them, which is Chunky Dude, who used to run an estate, Japanese schoolgirl killed by her dad, immigrant who got used to murder people from the mafia while he thought he was just doing an honest job, and Russian orphan who murdered people in the woods. Okay, let's keep on going. I think I will stream for 2 hours or so. If a bunch of people show up and actually watch the stream, then I'll keep going. But otherwise, if I know this crew, and I do, they'll want to show off soon enough. If we're done playing, let's do something else instead. Well, for once I actually agree with the meathead. I say we go to my yacht. It's the massive boat docked nearby. That'll give everybody a true taste of true luxury and power. Wraith rolls his eyes. Don't mind him, he just hates fun and happiness. It's gonna be hard to do voices. No, I hate the endless, desperate, soul-crushing pursuit of wealth, the way it's flaunted needlessly, and the cruelty it engenders. What about hanging out by the pool? I find the water calming, simple, beautiful. Hey, what about our volleyball game? We can exercise and have some fun as a group. You serious? There's a perfectly good lounge to chill out at right here. I'm tired. And besides, I hate being in the sun. Where do you want to go? The degenerate weeb part of me that's like... Also, I'm assuming this is sort of like pick like your starting route. So that's the yacht. That is presumably the volleyball game. I'll do the pool. Be down for a dip in the pool. Oh, the pool? You actually want to go to the pool? Well, I mean, sure. Why not? I've got good ideas. What's wrong with my ideas? The pool is great. Everyone knows that. Oh, the world. If people agree on one thing, it's that pools are great. Look, we got a whole ocean right here, and they still put in a pool because pools are just, you know, great. It's a special treat. And you thought it was bad when he stayed quiet. Hold on. For just one moment. This is Dwight and Claudette, our activities coordinators. Those are the cooks, waiters, bartenders, janitors, and every other job. They're the only help remaining on the island. This place we call Murderer's Island. Cue dramatic musical flourish. Oh, it actually plays the sound. None of the others survived. Ahem. I mean, survived the interview process. Hence why we shall therefore refer to them as survivors, the capital S. These two have worked here a long time. So very long. I don't actually know how long it's been. Sorry. Anyway, I should probably let Dwight and Claudette do their mandated jobs. They sure look happy, but they're vibrating with nervous energy that is starting to give me the creeps. We will now escort the group to the venue of your choosing. However, in the future we recommend waiting for us to present you with options whenever possible, and don't just run off to various activities unsupervised. We don't have much autonomy around here. The least you can do is allow us to do our job. The most you could do is help us get off this Dwight? Yes, pardon me, follow us. Hey, narrator? Yes? Something I can help you with? These two, Clyde and Dodette. Did they start mentioning wanting to escape? Is escape an option? Should I be trying to escape? Escape? Them? Oh, no. I think you're mistaken. It seemed like Dwight was asking for help to get off the island, though. All right. Yes, that's true, he was. That means he wants to get to the other vacation island getaway. A couple miles south of here. It has much fancier accommodations than this island. It's one of those big corporate outfits, quite exclusive, where all the famous celebrities hang out. Very luxurious. Doesn't have quite the charm this island does, though. Trust me, you wouldn't want to go there. With all that money comes a lot of restrictions. This is where you belong. Now, off you go. It's time for an activity. On this island, your decisions matter. Mostly. When I agree with them. Not like that other island. So what'll it be? I mean, I already picked the pool. I'm still going to the pool. Wraith moves ahead to the pool at a pace that could almost be considered jaunty, if a creature so lanky they appeared to be made out of ankles and elbows could jaunt. What's going on with Wraith's face? Is that a smile? Is that what a smile looks like when he does it? What can I say? Being enveloped by water is comforting. It's quiet, it's ominous, and you know. Wraith looks back over each shoulder to make sure no one beside you isn't with earshot. The fire can't get me. Super normal stuff here, as usual. Oh great, it's Claudette and Dwight. What do these two want? Since everyone is at the pool, we figured we'd bring over some of our most popular pool accessories. Kyle, which one of these is particularly interesting to you? Foam noodles. Let's see. Foam noodles, inflatable lounger, basketball hoop. Ooh, it does like drum noises. Alright, so I'm planning to stream until 2 hours. I'll do the inflatable lounger. The loungers look pretty comfortable. Sleeping out in the ocean, sleeping during the day, completely out in the open like this, making yourself a target. If someone were to, I don't know, try and throw an axe directly at you, well, you'd sure be easy to see. Not that I'm saying I would do that to you. I prefer a challenge. Huntress may not be into it, but it sure looks like Spirit co-signs this choice, and she immediately snags the coolest one. It's in the shape of a casket. A really cute casket. I don't really do water, but as long as I'm floating on top of it, that's fine, I guess. Spirit grabs you the black unicorn floaty and sets it in the water next to her. And since you also enjoy the fine art of relaxing, here, you can share my umbrella. Well, come on. That's charming. Something about the water and putting you this close to Spirit is putting you in a bit of a playful mood you might regret. Do you splash her? Just a little bit? I promise she doesn't have a cell phone in her pocket. She died before they got popular. Splash gently. You splash in Spirit's direction, ever so softly. She looks enraged. And then giggles? Didn't see that coming. Do it again and I'll cut your head off. For a waking nightmare, you could almost believe that you're starting to relax a bit and forget about how much you can't remember. It's as if the sun's very rays have a calming effect on you, your body tranquilized by the soft light from overhead, coupled with the cool breeze rolling in from the sea. And you're not alone. Feel recharged by the gentle warmth of the ocean's caress. If it was a little too warm, that might have been my fault. Also, this is a pool, not the ocean. Okay, everyone, just let him finish. Thanks, Kyle. I know this doesn't probably seem like me, but does anyone want to play a game of Marco Polo? Yes, I love games. I'll go first. Somebody blindfold me. Of course, Trapper has a blindfold ready to go. It's almost as if he had it in his hands before you even spoke. Did he just wink? And did you just bite your lip? Good thing you're getting reined in, because it sure seemed like you were about to act up. Minigames consist of 2 parts. On top, a pointer which rotates... Okay, so 1 second, I actually need to pay attention to this. Minigames consist of 2 parts. On top, a pointer which rotates in a clockwise direction. On the bottom, a target you're going to be looking at. What? Sometimes target is immediately visible, sometimes it's hidden until the pointer arrives. Press spacebar to stop over the target to win. Fail to land on the target, and you will lose. Achieve perfect success, land on the start of the target area, not the end. Okay, ready to play. Would you like me to repeat that? Wait, hold up. This is just the generator minigame, right? I want to read this one more time. 2 parts. A pointer which rotates in a clockwise direction. A target you're going to be pointing at. Sometimes target is immediately visible, sometimes it's hidden until the pointer arrives. Fail to land on the target and you will lose. Press the space bar. Okay. Achieve perfect success, land on the start of the target area, not the end. Ready to play? Let's try it. Away we go. It's time to feel around. Go get him, Tiger. Not bad. Perfect. Not bad. Okay, so perfect as long as I get the start of the target. Oh, okay. Not bad. That was pretty good, Kyle. No, it wasn't. Don't lie. Just ignore him. You've been thrown into a very weird situation, and you have held your own. I respect that. It was a good game, so we celebrate. By throwing this waiter, whose name I forgot, into the pool! Hilarious. Bullying truly is the gift that keeps on giving. You grab Dwight's legs and help Trapper give him the heave-ho. You know what? Sorry, I can't pretend to support you on this one. Only Trapper is the sadistic. I know it's all in good fun, but not on my Murderer's Island. Yeah, that's right. This place really is called Murderer's Island. But that doesn't mean we're cool with bullying. You're on thin ice, friend. Listen! The man has a hacksaw! What do you want me to do? I'm no expert, even though as an omnipotent narrator I should be, but I think that means it's time for the next activity. Alright. Seems like the next activity is mealtime. How quaint. You're expecting what? Capture the flag? Do you know how complicated it is to run a game like that? Much more so than sitting and talking. I feel personally attacked. You arrive at the cookout area to find an assortment of picnic tables scattered around. What were you expecting? Some kind of grand hall with a huge banquet table? This ain't some prestigious fantasy epic like you'd find on cable. Are they roasting Game of Thrones? Dwight and Claudette usher you to your seat, but there's very limited seating directly around you. And, oh great, terrific. It seems that everyone wants to sit next to you. Even better is that they don't want to sit next to certain other people. To start, nobody wants to sit next to Trapper. Okay, so... Meanwhile, he refuses to sit next to Wraith or Trickster. Oh yeah, Trickster is here. Surprised? Well, they don't call him Expected Sir? I'm sorry, even I get nervous around crowds of killers, and my whole shtick gets flustered. Hey there, Kyle. You're looking good, Kyle. Real good. And we literally can't let Huntress and Trapper sit together. No, seriously, their arms are too big. They can't fit at the table if they sit side by side. Look at this. We can't even fit everybody on screen at the same time. You probably think it was an error, but it's not. It's completely intentional. Let that be a lesson to you. Every error you think you see is a choice. Got that? Uh-huh, and that must be why it says snakes earlier instead of snags. Okay, Dwight and Claudette are directing traffic. You sit on one side. The rest of them will sit opposite to you. Huntress and Trapper can sit at the ends with their enormous sexy arms. Now that everyone is seated, we can begin dinner. Night's meal was prepared slowly and carefully with both love and hate for 12 hours over a spit. We hope you all enjoy. We really, really hope you do. Hey, you didn't tell us what we're serving. What are we eating? It's meat, seasoned with a specific number of special herbs and spices that we simply can't divulge. My favorite! Meat is good. Meat is murder. Which you'd know, considering what you've been up to. Who are you to get judgy now? I'm just sharing facts. And if you need to murder, something to eat its meat, so that's like technically true. Technically true is the best kind of true. Okay, enough yapping. Let's eat! Hey Kyle, you thinking what I'm thinking? It's going to be a person on that spit, right? Or several parts of overlapping people, perhaps. I haven't seen many pigs wearing palm tree button-down prints, you know? When you look at the spit, you spot what definitely appears to be scraps of fabric sandwiched between some layers of meat. I think I might be sick. Is there anything else to eat? This took 12 hours. And we do literally everything on this island. Actually, there's one thing you're not doing today. You're not carving up this delectable meal. Wow, he's right, for a change. Because I am with my broad axe. It's the perfect tool for easily chopping anything in twain. First, who says twain? Sometimes I swear it's like we're all from completely different historical eras. Second, I'll handle this with my cleaver. Fast, powerful, and clean. At least it's clean when the meat is cooked. You know? No blood. Ah! You two and your ridiculous bicep swinging contest. Grow up! Obviously, my gorgeous katana is the only option. Obviously. The hell it is! Or I'll show you both my katana and send you to actual hell if you'd like. Please stop. I hate it when we fight. Or talk. Or even when we look each other in the eye. I can do it. I have the skull of Arzav. Great. Instead of slicing it up, you can club it into a second death. Hey Kyle, I know this isn't what you want to eat, but hurry up and volunteer to carve up. Felix, I mean dinner! Otherwise, they'll go on for hours. No hyperbole. They once argue over who had the most effective weapons for 72 hours straight. It doesn't matter which one's done it. When they're done, they'll take even longer cleaning their weapon, all while explaining the value in maintaining your tools. Despite being a bunch of cold-blooded killers, for some reason they're always terrified of tetanus. Hey, why don't you just let me carve up the dinner? Splendid idea. We'd hate for it to get cold. He hated when it got cold. Here's a machete, freshly sharpened. Alright, mini games. Alright. Is that perfect? Yep. Close enough. Alright. That's pretty good. I'd like to see what you could do with a less clumsy subject weapon. Yeah, I said it. Machetes are dumb. Dinner is finally served. For real. The sounds, especially coming from the masked killers while they eat, which involves lifting their masks and shoving food up behind them, are nasty. Spirit doesn't, while eat. She's the only one who seems to be really embracing being dead. They're all dead, right? This is obviously hell. I mean, come on, we're just trying to be mysterious here. You think mystery comes easily? Claudette and Dwight aren't the only one who've been working their ass off to make this night perfect. Well, at least they're lifting their masks. This is only 99% as disgusting as it could be if they tried to just mash stuff through there. Spirit, why aren't you hungry? The two best things about being dead is not having to eat. That's only one thing. Think about it, Kyle, is number two is no number two. One less thing to think about in the afterlife. Even if I wanted to eat, I have no idea what would actually follow. You might have noticed, but I'm mostly just a bunch of disembodied body parts floating around in spectral form. You see how deep this cut on my abdomen is? I don't think my digestive tract connects anymore. Between the food and the behavior of the group, this might be the worst meal in history. But even worse is they're staring at you. You're not eating. They don't like that. I think they want an explanation of why. What do you want to tell them? Wow! You ever see a seagull that big? I haven't. It's incredible. Anyway, what were we talking about? Lame misdirect. Yeah, she's right. Kyle, pretty lame. Own who you are. Never compromise. Didn't you wash up on this island with no memory of who you are and how you got here? Yes, you did. You poor thing. You have no idea the last time you ate a real meal, and you've been standing in the sun. I'm trying to think of, I'd be curious. I'm sure that the actual person who, like, the player character isn't... It'd be cool if they actually turned out to be one of the characters from the game. Or, like, another one of the killers, but... And this game was like a teaser for that, but I don't think they are. You have no idea the last time you ate a real meal. And you've been standing in the sun. But the seagull... Uh-oh. You just made a lot of good points. I swear. You're beginning to feel lightheaded. It waved at me. Maybe you need to eat to survive here. That, or, you know, someone has poisoned you. No, wait. You haven't eaten, so you can't be poisoned. Oh, whatever the answer, you're about to pass out. Oh, hey, it's me again. Your friend, mentor, and guide. Narrator to the narrator. The ocean. Not sure how I feel about that characterization, but I'll allow it. I brought you here, and I might be the only one who can help you now. There's only one thing you must do to survive. You have to figure out why you're really here. No one can tell you. Not unless you follow the right path. Or at least a right path. There's too many of those to count. Hopefully you pick at least one of them, because there are even more wrong paths. Many of them lead to your demise. Others lead to something even worse. Starting scenes over and having to fast forward back to where you were, am I right? But this place holds many secrets, even from itself. But only one that truly matters can only be learned if you ask the most important question. Why are you here? Why are you here? Answer that and you'll learn the truth. The ultimate truth. Vague. Mysterious. I gotta give it to that ocean character. That's some quality early game storytelling. Hold on, I'm back. One more piece of advice. You've made many choices by now. Some of them I liked, some of them I did not. It's in your best interest to make more choices that I like. You wake up to find Wraith holding your limp body, gingerly pouring cool water into your mouth. Now that you're finally alone, Wraith looks at you eagerly. I don't care if the seagull actually waved at you, but I understand the feeling of looking at you from so far away and wanting to reach out. But did it wave at you? I'm going to say that, yes, I swear it. Wraith nods the nod of someone who's just realized that Kyle's a liar. He's disappointed in you. I'm disappointed in you. And you know deep down you're disappointed in you. More so than usual. That'd be very difficult. Oh boy, looks like he's about to monologue. Now you've done it. How do I say this? It's just, honesty is important to me. I've been burned too many times. Something about the word burned makes Wraith look far away. Eyes brimming with tears, and yet at the same time... dead. I understand. Wraith looks back at you with those sad eyes, wanting to believe you. He looks down at the ground. I have something very important to tell you. It's about something very special to me. It's not something I tell everyone, but you know how important honesty is to me. So I can't... okay, so I can't expect that from you if I'm not honest in return. Great. I bet he's got crabs. It's about my special bell. What? It belonged to my father. He gave it to me before he and my mother, well, they had to go away. I was either in danger or I was supposed to ring this bell. It didn't really work. But it's all I have of my family with me. Wow, Wraith, thank you for telling me. Here, hold it. Wraith just gave you his bell. Sound the alarms. What are you going to do with this thing? I'm going to be careful with it because it's his shit. Press the bell, running your fingers over its rusty... Is that dried blood? Why are you touching this thing? Thank you for sharing this important part of yourself. You hand the bell back. Wraith is looking out wistfully at the ocean. The ocean is beautiful. It's not real. None of this is. Wraith looks at you more intensely than ever. I don't know if you're ready to hear the truth. Just as things are really heating up, you hear a flurry of footsteps behind you, and you spin around, ready to fend off whatever new danger has popped up on this strange island. Only to find that it's Dwight and Claudette sprinting across the beach, clipboards in hand, which they are waving in the air above their heads. It's very important that we stick to the itinerary and attend each event as scheduled. Playing sick for cute flirt points was not part of this evening's activities. That's strictly slotted in after campfire story time. At this rate, we'll be late. Playing sick? No time for excuses. Well, there is, but that's scheduled for after what comes up after the flirting. Go, go, go! Alright. Oh. I forget how quickly I lose my voice when I actually have to talk a lot for events and stuff like that. Once everyone is gathered at the fire pit, Dwight and Claudette quickly make an announcement. We're not going to blame anyone in particular, but someone, and we're not going to say who, so don't worry, you, has been sticking to the schedule. That means we're behind on time for evening activities, and we'll only have time for one person to spare their special spooky nighttime story. Just one story? But story time is my favorite activity. This is a narrative-heavy experience. You're telling us only one person gets to share? How will we decide? Oh, great. We have to decide as a group. That never goes well. Whoever did this, step him now. I swear I won't be angry. I merely chop your head clean off. No muss, no muss. Voice trembling. You realize this is probably it for you, but you embrace your fate. Sorry, everybody. I think they're talking about me. To be honest, I still don't understand how this whole schedule things works. I guess I lost track of time while I was passed out. Been there before. Even though it's taking some pressure off of me, which is naturally a dream come true, is it fair to pick on the newbie? Seriously, has anything here ever happened on schedule? Even once? Damn it, Donald, if you try to flex that authority gimmick on me one more time, so help me, I'll snap your head off so quick and drown you in his blood, Cynthia. Fuss and muss are back on. You two know I love to hack and slash and slice. Wait, who's he talking to? We all know you love to kill. It's all you talk about. Nobody named any names. Who knows any names? Not us. I renounce my name. Who's Donald? Who's Dwight? Who even knows anymore? Call me nobody. But we still got to get started on story time. So, Kyle, who do you think should go? Ah, damn it, that's a name. Please pick somebody quickly so this tropical vacation doesn't turn into a bloodbath. I'm gonna go with Wraith. Wraithachu, I choose you. Oh, this entire experience is being carefully crafted to avoid an IP infringement lawsuit. Let's be careful with the catchphrases, will ya? I'm not really one for scary stories. Life is scary enough as it is. You carry around a skull and a spine with you. As the other killers laugh, Wraith holds up his skull and gazes into its hollow, dark eye sockets. If you're looking for something Shakespearean in this story, turn elsewhere. This is a tale of madness, of staring at the soul of death, and never returning. Oh god, yep. Okay, so this is Wraith's backstory. Once upon a time, a young man worked at a junkyard. The man was quiet, and kept to himself, just wanted to avoid trouble. While the boss dealt with quiets, the young man operated the crusher, turning old cars into cubes of twisted metal. One day, right before crushing a car, he noticed something. Blood. Drip, drip, dripping from the trunk. He opened it and found a frightened stranger, bound and gagged. The young man reeled. Was he about to accidentally murder this stranger? How could this have happened? He freed the stranger, who ran off, into the waiting arms of the boss, the owner of the junkyard. Before his shaken employee could tell him about the mistake they'd nearly made, the boss took out a knife and swiftly slit the stranger's throat. The young man fell to his knees, unable to comprehend what was happening. As he stared to the ground, too shocked to cry, the boss approached him. "What did you do?" he asked the boss. "I did your job for you." "What do you mean? That's not my job. My job's to crush the cars." The boss let out a miserable scoff, his face contorting into an evil disdain for the pathetic wretch in front of him. "Why do you think we're crushing these cars? Save space? Who do you think my clients are?" I don't know," mumbled the young man. "Yes, you do!" screamed the boss. "Deep down, you've always known what was happening here. You just didn't want to admit it to yourself. Your hands aren't clean. Clients give me money, and I take care of their problems. Eliminate their witnesses. Tie up their loose ends. Well, actually, you do." "No," the young man whimpered as the boss towered above him. "Yes, you're nothing more than an executioner. You've reaped hundreds of souls." The young man's body shook with soft spasms as he tried to stop the crying. It was when the boss started laughing that it happened. Something in him changed. He stood up. He was now taller than the boss. A faint glimmer of fear overtook the snarl on the older man's face. The young man's face was empty. It was empty as he grabbed the boss's throat. It was empty as it dragged him into the car near the crusher. It was empty as he picked up the boss and stuffed him inside. It was empty as he slammed the truck down on him, its stupid fat head sticking out, begging for mercy. It was empty as he started the machine, staring at the boss in his sniveling, crying wet face. Empty as he grabbed the boss's head, dug his fingers in farther and piercing the skin. Empty as he squeezed and pulled. Empty as he heard the bones popping and snapping. But when the boss's head, still attached to his spine, pulled cleanly out of its disgusting stack of a body, he smiled. Wraith stares back into the eye sockets of his skull. It doesn't matter how good you are, how innocent you are, how kind you are, how full of love you once were. When you look into the eyes of evil, you will surely go mad. An awkward silence falls upon the room until... What do we want to do here? Ask about the story. The poor young man. I wonder what happened to him. Oh, yeah, I guess we'll never know. Well, wherever he is, I hope he's okay. I can't tell, but I think Wraith just smiled. Sorry, it's weird to see him do it. Are they going to do that every time? On that note, everyone decides it's time to break and split up for a bit so that they can all have a moment alone before bed. Everyone leaves and you're alone at the fire. The only thing you hear is the ocean slowly lapping against the shore. This is nice. A true moment of peace and tranquility that lasts for all of 7 seconds because Trickster shows up. He's blaring his latest song. Hey baby, you look lonely. Mind if I join you? He doesn't wait for an answer. Man, I don't like how they've drawn his bat. The rest of his model's good. But this bat is just... I know you've been hearing from these guppies all day, but I want you to hear something from a big fish like me. Something special those in charge of this island don't want you to hear. I am the ultimate catch on this island. The only lobster in an ocean of sardines. No one can give you what I can. You just have to find me. Come find me, baby. Trickster leaves. You're a bit confused about what to make of his cryptic clues, but you aren't going to get any time to yourself to think about them just yet. Wraith approaches you. Hey, probably not making a great impression, because, I guess it's not really my thing. I just know that if you got to know me, then, I mean, look, the others aren't around. And I really hate the fire pit. I kind of just hate fire in general. Maybe we could go back to the pool. And I don't know, whatever, you know. The dip in the pool with the Wraith? Come a long way in a single day. I'm not saying you shouldn't follow him. An offer like that, just don't forget our little talk. Okay. Oh, give me 1 second to just adjust and stretch. What else will I do today after I finish this? You and your storyteller friends slip into the water. It's just the right temperature for an eating dip. Plus, if some jealous shark comes along and manages to jump from the ocean into the pool, you're pretty sure your killer companion could handle it. Hey, do you remember my story? I mean the one you just told, like a minute ago? Yeah. Yes? Would you what do you think of the young man in the story? Do you think he's weird? I don't know. I'd forgive him. I would forgive him. What happened to him would make anyone snap. Who knows happened in the past leading to this point. He was just trying to be good. Yes, that's all he wanted, was to be good. Well, that makes sense. Did the young man remind you of anything? I'm gonna go with yes and no. That's what makes it such a great story. It's unique and surprising, but relatable and familiar. I think we all know somebody like that young man. I think we all have a little of him inside us. Not in a gross way, but you're thinking like a silly one. I'm assuming he's imagining a tiny little version of himself dancing around inside in his own belly, because that's just who he is. You notice the temperature has dropped significantly. Is it cold in this water now, or is it just me? I feel like my toes are turning into ice cubes. Wraith seizes up and squeezes his eyes shut. Please, I can't be around any cube talk. Not since I heard that story from someone else a long time ago. I don't know what you do with ice cubes. The story you just told us 2 minutes ago. Exactly. The one that wasn't about me. Usually we'd be nervous we're about to make things awkward when we barge in, but we obviously couldn't hold a candle to whatever was happening here tonight. Either way, it's time for bed. For you, but not for us. After you go to sleep, that's when we party. After spending all day cooped up in those tight little safari-themed resort uniforms, you know those two just rage late tonight. But you're not here to party with them. You've got your own repressed relationships to attend to. You head over to the campfire. The heat is comforting on this chilly night. Looking into the crackling embers, you think about Wraith's story and the young man who found out he was part of a sinister plot. What don't you know about your own situation? Is it something that'll terrify you? Something that'll make you snap? What if you look into the eyes of evil? And what if you like it? Before you can dwell on that too much, Claudette and Dwight arrive. They're now a creepy smile stretching ear to ear. It's a bit menacing to see a smile like that lit by firelight. We must apologize for the accommodations. We weren't prepared for another guest, but we're going to make you comfortable, or die trying. They hand over a pillow and a blanket, welcome you to snuggle up by the fire. Perhaps some music will put you at ease. Just try to keep the volume to a minimum. Our other guests are the type you'll want to rob of their beauty sleep. Minigames consist of 2 parts, pointer and target. There's no winning or losing. I'm ready. I'm gonna try each of these.
Right. Let's talk about our community. For us, it means 2 major things. First of all, the community is you out there. It's you and everybody else.
So I think this is the Dead by Daylight devs.
Talking about the game, or creating content relating to the game, or being inspired by the game to
I am community.
write music or to make outfits. It's everybody that's part of what makes Dead by Daylight this amazingly rich and passionate.
This is very meta.
It means groups of people who interact on every single possible social platform, in person. It means people who play together. It's even the people who...
I'm just going to listen, so this might take a little bit just because I'm going to listen to all of these to see if there's like something hidden in one of them. I don't hear anything. I'm going to give this another like 10 seconds and then we'll go on to the next one. Let's see, I should probably check my... Yeah, I think my audio is probably fine. We'll give this another shot. Okay, so that's that one. Let's do 102. '88. So the thing is that I've played a lot of Dead by Daylight, but I haven't played enough to know like which... Because killers don't have different musical themes. At least, I don't. Maybe that's not true because I haven't played super much in like the last 2 years. But there was a point where they had different chase themes, but then I think that got removed. So I don't know whose theme this is. It could be Oni. He's not. Doesn't appear to be in this novel. We'll give this one more. All right. One second. This one's much quieter than the...
Now join me on a stroll down memory lane. Behavior's been making games for about 30 years, mostly for other people. Licenses and other publishers, developers. But all of us on the team, we have our own stories we want to tell. And one of those stories that we've been wanting to tell for a long time is the story of this fantasy, being a villain in a horror movie. Way back when, a decade or so ago, people were telling us horror doesn't sell. I mean, unless you're like the big ones, like Silent Hill or Resident Evil, but really, don't even try. So we...
Man, that's so dead wrong.
We didn't give up. We released one as a comedic twist on this called Naughty Bear. If you don't know Naughty Bear, go check it out. It's magical. A little later on, though, we had one of our designers come up with a little prototype, a very simple hide and seek
1 second.
thing, someone trying to hide and do a thing, and someone else trying to catch them and finish the game. And it was so good. It was pure thumb candy. And we figured that by slapping on that skin of the 70s, 80s horror slasher flick, we were onto something remarkable. So we put the old band back together. We went and get Ash and Dave and Phil, and we put a team of about 30 talented, special people on it. And in June of 2016, Dead by Daylight came to be. One of the first key moments for us happened just a little before launch. So the first Halloween before launch, we showed it internally to the rest of the behavior team. I remember we put the killer on the big screen and we put the survivors in a different room and we had people play the game, and there was a lot of excitement and it was really cool. And then we put the survivor on the big screen and people went a little nuts, and we saw the crowd really gather and root for the little guy to survive. And we realized at that point that not only was Dead by Daylight going to be a great game, but it was going to make for an amazing show.
Alright, I think that's everything. No matter how many things you listen to, you still can't sleep. You decide to ask one of the killers to spend a little bit more time with you until you're sleepier. Who would you like to summon to your side by you lay by the fire? Let's see. I guess we'll go for Wraith. We're going Wraith route, so. That happens to me a lot. Don't laugh. Promise? I promise? I guess my secret to falling asleep is listening to the sound of bells or chimes. Think of it as white noise to drown out anything you might be hearing that's keeping you up. Like what, Wraith? Like those distant screams we can all hear coming from behind the mountain? Okay, narrator! Nice time to bring that up. If that's a bit morbid, I guess you could hold on to this chess piece of mine. It's a knight. They're brave, like I wish I were. And the horsey is cute. You finally start to feel sleepy. Except maybe this isn't really a sleepy feeling. Maybe you're paralyzed. Try to keep your eyes open, but you can't. Darkness overtakes you. The dark voice from earlier speaks to you again. It shouldn't still be as spooky. By now you've had a whole day's strange voices in your head, but this one is still undeniably odd. So I wonder if the ocean is actually the entity. Look, I'm not saying that my feelings are hurt because you chose to swim in a pathetic little teacup when you could have swum in the vastness of an entire, me, I guess. I'm just saying that you've made a foolish decision and I won't forget it. My feelings aren't hurt. I've just lost some respect for you. That's all. You awake suddenly to see someone looming over you. Huntress is rifling through your pockets. Oh, you're awake. I wasn't stealing from you. Just trying to get to know you better by seeing what sort of trinkets you keep up close. Saw you with the Wraith right before bedtime. Look, I'm not saying I don't trust them, but well, yes, I am saying that. I don't trust anyone I don't already have tied up. So I was making sure they didn't do anything fishy. And I was making sure you're not a soldier. Soldiers killed my father, you know. Well, I've got you. You really should consider spending some more time with me. I'm not scary. You're not? Not at all. I'm just a lost girl on a big island. I've been watching you since you got here, you know. Not in a creepy way. Huntress pauses for a long moment. Alright, in a charmingly creepy way. Noticed how fun-loving you seem. If you spend some time with me tomorrow, maybe I'll take you to this special place I've found. It's all mine. None of the ever killers have been able to find me there. It's quiet and desolated. Maybe I'll even show you how to make beef stroganoff. That all sounds very enticing. I'll let you get back to bed. It's been a long day. Shh. Huntress places a gigantic hand on your forehead and your eyes flutter closed. Finally alone for real this time, you drift off to sleep. Again. Hopefully you're not poisoned. Oh no. Wait a second. Where are we? This isn't. Oh jeez. It is. It's one of those reality show confessional rooms where all the contestants talk directly to the camera. Can you blame me for not getting along with the others? I mean, I haven't had a real conversation with anyone since I was a child. I take the fact that I haven't slaughtered the newcomer for their meat yet as a win. They look pretty tasty though, so who knows what'll happen tomorrow. Hey Dwight, do we have a Tarragon on this island? If I'm being honest, I want to kill just about every person I meet within a minute of meeting them. Even the few people I can tolerate, I want to see suffer for a long time, before I kill them. But this person, for some reason I'd like them to continue living. For now, one false step and... well, you know everybody calls me the Trapper for the reason. And they'd better call me the Trapper. Swear if I watch this later and you list me as Evan, I'm going to kill the Chiron guy. What is... one second, I want to look at what a Chiron is. Interesting. That's a fancy-ass word for captioning. Yeah, so today was fun. I don't want to get ahead of myself or anything. Investing in something that might hurt me, so I don't know. Maybe we'll just see how it goes. Or maybe they'll realize that I'm not the one for them. They seem pretty smart, so that's probably what'll happen. I gotta go to learn to go easier on myself. Who could love me if I can't love myself? Have you ever felt absolutely nothing inside? It's fine. You open your eyes. The sun is shining. There's not a cloud in the sky. And you feel great. Totally well rested. So I think if I go with Huntress today, I will die. So I'm not going to do that. You're not even suspicious of the fact that you fell asleep by the campfire but woke up several yards down the beach. Wait, are you on vacation? Was yesterday nothing more than a strange dream? Nope, not a dream. You really are here for another day. Why? I have no idea. You're obviously a weirdo. Speaking of weirdos, I see the rest of the gang is hanging out on the beach. This is definitely not a dream. I wouldn't rule out nightmare just yet, though. Let's see. At least they make for a sexy bunch, no? Talk about sexy. Here comes Trickster carrying coffee. Morning, beautiful. I thought you might like a nice cup of joe to start this incredible day off right. Trickster seems specifically cheerful. I'm sure there's nothing nefarious behind his joyful demeanor, though. I don't believe you, narrator. Everyone knows musicians are morning people. Again, lies. I also want to wish you luck. Today is an important one. My only regret is that I won't be a bigger part of it. Budgeting issues. Also, I'm just swamped with engagements, especially on the other island. Trickster wants you. If you want to ask him how to reach the other island, now is the time. Never mind, he left. Well, at least he brought me a cup of... No, wait, don't drink that! What the hell was that? They don't call him Trickster because he's good on a skateboard. He definitely did get that name because he brings people drinks. They can have a good morning. That was almost certainly not coffee. I don't want anybody casually poisoning, imprisoning, and torturing you. Yet. This is supposed to be a tropical paradise. This place you give a 5 out of 5, 10 out of 10, 2 thumbs up on a review. Not an eternal prison of pain. And please make sure to leave a review. It really helps with the algorithms. Please like and subscribe. Just trust me. I'm looking out for you. So can we please move on? Hey, wait a second. How did a possibly omniscient yet possibly unreliable narrator physically just knock that cup of coffee out of your hand? This is not Parliament, and the floor does not recognize the ocean. Speak out of turn at this moment. I need no recognition. For I am the ocean. I dominate the land. I submerge those who defy me, and I become their watery grave. Actually, speaking of graves, I'd like to say something. Something of grave importance. Fine, go ahead. Even if this place is an eternal prison of pain, and I'm not saying it is, even a place of extreme horror can still receive a 5 out of 5, 10 out of 10 thumbs up review. It was crafted with love and or that's the kind of thing you're into. You know, the ocean was right. A lot of hard work goes into a place like this. You should really judge it on the artist's intent. And whenever possible, start from the mindset of giving them the benefit of the doubt. Constructing these elaborate vacations, it's not an easy thing to do. Sometimes there are all small bugs or inconsistencies, but that's just the nature of the process. Perfection is overrated. The universe is filled with mysteries. You ought to celebrate those who venture to bare their souls as part of a creative process with the ultimate intent of making things for an enjoyment, and not to be overly critical of them. This game is trying to make me feel guilty about the fact that I'm about to write a review for Cult of the Lamb very soon that is not going to be 10 out of 10. Are you trying to sell me on this place being actually good? You don't have to say it like that, especially after I saved you from that poorly made cup of coffee. Sorry, we should have been here 5 minutes ago. They always do this on the second morning. Sad, really. Even if they do make some great points. Oh sure, they make great points. I agree. Can we please move on? Yes, of course. Apologies, Kyle. Last few minutes aside, have you been enjoying your time here on the island? Yes, I'm not suspicious that there's no option. Yes, I'm not suspicious at all that there's no option. What an encouraging response. And we're so glad you're not suspicious. Hey Claudette, maybe Kyle isn't suspicious because they've figured out what they're actually doing here? Zero chance. They're still clicking, even right now, to see how you'll respond. Hey, look at that. Yeah, they don't know anything. It doesn't matter though, Kyle. We're so happy to hear you're having fun. That is not what I said. I didn't say I was having fun. We're all having fun, Kyle. Do you hear us? We're all having fun. We do need to ask you one more question, though. We've had to sign our rights to say anything negative about this place. Would you please sign this non-disparagement agreement? No. Fuck you, game. No, I will not say anything about Negative Island. You have my word that I, Kyle, agree with the terms of this verbal contract. Perfect! Delightful. Excellent. Yes! Yes! Hey Kyle, it's still cool if you have constructive feedback. The right place to read that is in a positive review because we already nobody reads negative reviews of games or resorts like this. Anyway, I see Dwight and Claudette have gone to a trance. The grumbling I hear from your belly, that can only mean one thing. Breakfast. Perfect timing. Everyone rolls into the little dining area to lard up those sexy little bellies with pancakes and bacon and... So much for maintaining these beach bods. We're all half naked in tropical paradise. Can we get some strawberries here? A yogurt? Magic powers will only get you so far. Even killers watch their sodium intake. Maybe I should cook some bacon after this. Actually, that'd be kind of tasty. You take your plate and sit down, thinking about yesterday and the whirlwind of feelings you experienced. I'm skeptical about what's going to be the food. Danger, dread, disorientation. It was like going through puberty again, except all in one day on a beautiful and mysterious island. I wouldn't say that those are the feelings I experienced during puberty. Is perpetual self-loathing that never stops even till afterwards more accurate? Looks like you're not the only one doing some introspection, though. Trapper stands up to talk about how his day went, in case anyone was wondering. I wasn't either. I'll be honest, I didn't expect you to survive yesterday. So congrats, I guess. Whether you survive today is 50-50 at best. Good luck? Well, that was bizarre. Back to your Nope. Now Huntress steps up to talk about her feelings. This island is treacherous. I don't know what the newcomer thinks they're doing here, but it certainly isn't helping any of us. Wait, Huntress pretends to be all independent, but is secretly kind of miffed you and her aren't getting along? Oh well, that must be it. Nobody else would weirdly stand up during breakfast to... Oh, here comes Spirit. If I look especially well rested this morning, it's not because I slept well. As you know, I'm too dedicated to finding revenge to ever sleep again, but because you really left me alone yesterday to be my best, not constantly annoyed self, and I thank you for that. Now, if you don't mind, I'm going to go back to quietly resenting being trapped here with you all while looking cute doing so. Guessing Wraith has had enough time to work up the courage to speak in front of a large group. Ah, perfect. There he is. Take us home, Wraith! There may be something off about this island, but it's doing wonders for you. I mean, you look well rested. Like, you got good sleep and... Good lord, never mind. And now they're looking expectantly. What are you supposed to do? Stand up and explain how yesterday made you feel? I think I need to process everything by myself. I'll see you all soon. Goodbye. Damn, what a power play. Keep them wanting more. Getting good at this game. They're a sexy, true-to-life experience. Shame you didn't get to eat any breakfast, but so be it. I wonder if this is like an underworld thing, where if you eat any food on the island, you get trapped here forever like the pomegranate seeds. After breakfast, you head... So let me see something in settings. Can I... Okay, so I can save. You head to the hot tub by yourself to clear your head. Yesterday was, in short, a lot. Before you get there, something catches your attention. I need to go do one thing real quick. Can I... Sorry about that, there's probably some audio feedback. One second. Sorry, I just need to respond to something really quickly and then I'll get right back to the game. Yep, okay. Alright. Before you get there though, something catches your attention. You hear that? Who are you addressing? Me? Yes, that's alright. You know, I might be pursuing a relationship with one of these 4 fine killers, but I feel like the person I'm trying to get to know the most is... It's you, narrator. It's only okay in so much as it serves to illustrate that you've lost your mind, seeing how I'm not real and all. Yeah, I heard it this time. I think it's coming from behind the pool shed. No, stick it in there. A little bit more. A little more. Oh yeah, that's it. Yes. How does that feel? Intense. Nice. Yeah, that feels right. This is uncomfortable. Now, I want you to take that and put it right. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Just like that. Exactly like that. I swear I had no idea these two even do whatever it is that they're doing. I'm afraid to look. Please say something so they know you're close by and can hear everything. Oh wow! Look at this super cool bottle of Trickster brand suntan lotion someone left on a chair. Does anyone know where I can buy some? Damn it! Ah, come on! Little privacy, please. Dwight is painting and Claudette has a pleased look in her eyes. Sorry. I didn't know how to let you know you was here, and I could hear you, you know. Know what? What do you think we were doing? You were doing... I don't know exactly what it sounded like you were doing, but it sounded like fun? You think people trying to find new ways to kill each other in a desperate search to make their own death permanent is fun? Oops. We get 5 minutes to ourselves every day, and we spend it hoping if we stab each other in just the right spot, we won't get resurrected. I've come to believe that the key is finding the exact place we need to bleed out from, and I believe that place is our appendix. Why else would it be there? Makes sense to me. Did you actually think me and him, Dwight? Ah! You don't have to laugh that hard. They get it. My life is a nightmare, and yet somehow it's never been visibly worse than right now. Let's go, lover boy. I know all our entry wounds and our 5 minutes is up. Good luck, Kyle. You're going to need it. Hey, and if you figure out how to escape this island, please make sure your ghost tells us how. That was both a tragedy and a comedy. A cragmedy. Shut up. I like it. Anyway, where were we? Oh yeah. You're riding the hot tub to yourself, but hear your head. Yesterday was, in short, a lot. So far, today has been exhausting too. But you're dedicated to achieving a true, centered sense of calm. No drama, no bullshit, just soaking up the sun in a heated pool. Today you're on a date with you. Ooh, I like that. I want to be on a date with me. Who would make the first move? And aside from that disturbing thought, all is going to plan until a shadow shows up and blocks your precious sun. Spiky tips. Like a palm tree is building over to screw with you. It's Wraith. But it's no tree at all. It's... Oh, it's Trickster. Hey babe, breakfast was weird, huh? Everybody just getting up and announcing how they're feeling. What's that about? Some kind of forced checking with the group? I don't like it. Fishy. Kind of lazy. Whatever though. Breakfast is dumb. No one should eat before noon or after 4 p.m. Yes, I do intermittent fasting. Have you seen my abs, by the way? Maybe you could see them later at my private stage in the other island. You know, IP Island, where all the Hollywood celebs hang out. If you play your cards right, I could give you a private show. Oh, so it's the joke that all the other killers that they've got licensed from other IPs on the Glitzy game? That's kind of funny. Catch you around. His abs are pretty amazing. You gotta give him that. The blow up the bat? Threatening, but adorable. Makes for an interesting silhouette. Genius design. I'm skeptical. He's a psychopath, just like the rest of them. You don't gotta give him anything. And we're not best friends. Just because we had a little talk about doing a little talking, it's not an invitation to go smashing the fourth wall every 5 seconds. Okay, now that that guy's gone, we've got some ground rules established. We're definitely going to abide by. It's time to lay back, take some deep, slow breaths. And nope, another shadow. These people will not leave you alone. Let's see who it is this time. Oh, it's Wraith. That checks out. You two have gotten pretty cozy. Hey, sorry if this is too forward, but do you want to get out of here? I know a place that, you know, it's hard to explain. Actually, it's kind of weird. You know, if you just want to go somewhere someone else, I totally understand. But if you want to see something weird and interesting, let me know, I guess. You've been around Wraith long enough to realize that this rambling speech was actually him being incredibly brave and asking you out. But before you decide if you want to go off with Wraith, the Trapper interjects. I demand that you reconsider. Actually, I strongly recommend you do. How the fuck do people do voices for these things for like an hour? Okay, diatribe for half a second because I don't think anyone's ever going to watch this video and I can just chat. I don't like my actual job all that much. I don't dislike it, but the current project and stuff on it is pretty rough. At least part of the reason I do stuff like the streams and Game Metro and things like that is that I kind of hope that at some point I can do something like this, making content and stuff like that. With all that said, the one thing that has become pretty clear to me, like as I try to do weekly streams and that sort of stuff, is that it's actually really hard to be like a professional streamer or anything like that, right? Like, I think that even if you gave me an extra 40 hours a week, like I'm starting to lose my voice, and I've only been talking for like an hour and 15 minutes reading text. Ugh. Alright, so we're gonna go for another 45 minutes. And it's weird, right? Like, the other reality of it is that, being actually successful as a streamer to any extent means you're part of the 1%. And if I was to be honest with myself, I don't think I'm part of the 1% for anything currently. Like, I'm still gonna keep working on it, but it's difficult. Okay, honesty that no one will ever see because no one's gonna watch this video. Over. Back to the Vidjama games. I demand that you reconsider. Actually, I strongly recommend you do. Wraith is half the man I am. If that, I could deadlift 4 of him, wrapped together. He can't even say a sentence without getting flustered. He's off-putting, disquieting, unnerving, bothersome. Plus, he doesn't even own a Theosaurus. I have 7, all leather-bound. Tough choice. You better weigh your options quickly, because you can only go on 1 date today, and you also don't want to be hacked to pieces for saying the wrong thing. It's always good to remember these are cold-blooded killers, but you know what they say. When life gives you lemons, you make lemonade, and then die a horrible, retching, writhing death after drinking it, because the lemons were poisoned all along. Sorry, this island has really got me tilted, so who will it be? I'm gonna die. I pick Wraith. I gotta go with Wraith. Wraith? Yes? I picked you. Sorry, I stopped paying attention, and then I thought I was hallucinating, and now, really? Yeah, really. Cool. Oh, man. Here's my island hangout. This is what I call the cosmic dump. I know. It's one of those first draft's gonna change it later kind of names. It just sort of stinks. Dump is being kind. It's a massive collection of seemingly ancient ruins that simultaneously appear to have been recently abandoned, and a little beat up. There are stone obelisks, strange carvings, ritual tables, and a car. It's pretty weird, like a collection of things from different, I don't know, places. Look around in awe, then look at Wraith, expecting more of an explanation. There's a very long, awkward pause. I can't look cute. So how? What's your... Just as you decided to talk, Wraith also occurred to say something. How adorably awkward. You both stop talking, wait a second, and start talking at the same time. This is too hard to watch. Next thing you know, you both start nervously laughing at how awkward this is. Wraith finally makes eye contact with you. After what seems like an eternity, Wraith manages an entire sentence. So, what brings you to the islands? I have no idea. An honest answer. Wraith lights up, the most excited you've seen him. Me neither. And that's all he's got for you. This guy's a hard nut to crack. Wraith looks for you with his almost always sad puppy dog eyes, looking for something to say. Anything to talk about. He clears his throat. You remember my bell? I showed it to you yesterday. Of course. Wraith pulls it out. The bell, you perv. Well, I just think it's really nice you picked me to hang out with, and, Wraith gives it to you. The bell. He gives you the bell. Get your mind out of the gutter, jeez. I want you to have it. Please take care of it. You know how much it means to me. I promise. I'll take good care of it. This is the sweetest gift. Wraith smiles, but even when smiling, his eyes seem sad. You smile back, knowing what a gift he's given you. I mean, it's kind of shitty because you can't really do anything, but it means a lot. I don't know, man. Fuck you, narrator. Wraith and Spirit are the... So, out of all the 4 killers on this island, if I had to arrange them in order of, like, strict sympathy, it would be Spirit, because she's literally not responsible for what happened to her. Wraith, Wraith and Spirit are pretty much at the same point, right? Neither of them sort of opted into doing this. Huntress, in my mind, is less guilty than Trapper because she didn't, like, choose to go down that path, right? Like, it was literally... She's just kind of crazy. Like, kind of forced into it. Huntress had no other choice, right? It's not like, hey, she woke up and decided to kill people for benefit. Trapper's an asshole. Trapper's the person who actually chose to kill people. He's kind of... Alright, but whatever. Continuing. Not to you, though. To someone else. Still, cool gift. Both search to something to say, anything to talk about. During the awkward silence, you look around the dumps, finding some kind of ritual table, stained with blood and littered with various bottles. Nearby is what looks like some ancient, dangerous potions. What was this ancient cult up to? Looking to shake this date? Is this a date? Yikes. Anyway, looking to shake it up, you approach one of the potions and pick up the fanciest one. So, what'll we do next? I'm curious what these are. Need to pour out. Take the potions and pour them out. No one else will ever suffer. Ground smokes to the liquid lands. No more harm will be done here. For now, anyway. Wraith looks at you and nods. Maybe he's found a kindred spirit. Wraith smiles nervously. He's endearingly awkward. So I guess, tell him about your family? I don't remember my family. Like... I don't... I mean, I think this is more honest. I have no family, at least none that I can remember. Family is all we have. It's our only real connection to this life. It's where we came from and what we leave behind. It's sad that you don't remember yours. Maybe we're just all broken. Wraith frowns and looks away. Well, that got you nowhere. Sexual tension in the air is palpable. Or maybe it's the regular tension. Hard to tell with this guy. Look around for anything to distract you. What's this table for? You look at the ritual table again. It's beaten up with a giant hole in it. You look back at Wraith. Smile at Wraith. Know any rituals we could do on this table? You wink. Nice touch. Wraith blushes and stammers and looks away smiling. Nice. Yes, narrators can narrate using emojis. Wraith looks intently at the table. What's he thinking about? Probably something deep and philosophical. Tense, sad, something about the inherent nothingness. Want to play cornhole? Or that. The hole in the table makes a great target. Here, we can use these skulls I found laying around. Now, this is definitely more of a fun date activity. It's easy, just stand back and, toss them in the hole. Don't worry if you miss. There are lots of skulls. Toss that little skull. Not bad. Not bad. Oh man, this is hard. Not bad. Don't worry, nobody wins everything all the time. Winning any time is actually pretty cool. I've played this hundreds of times and never gotten them all. I'm just glad to have someone else to play with. I feel like you're warming up to the race, so you unleash the big guns. You want to play Truth or Dare? Wraith looks mortified, but tries to keep it together. Maybe this is progress. I guess so, but only if I can ask first. Deal. Truth or Dare? I'm gonna make a bad decision. Dare. I'll take a dare, why not? Dare you tell me if you were a plant, what kind of plant you would be. That's the truth. Great question. Ray smiles. You're such a kiss-ass. Screw you, narrator. Cactus rhododendron. So, rose or cactus? Rhododendrons aren't a cactus. Are a rose, aren't they? They're a type of bush. I thought we had those. I think rhododendron. Rhododendron. Those colorful, beautiful blossoms bring me joy. They make me explode with energy and feel alive. A very flowery description. I thought it was funny. I don't think Wraith cared for it, though. Too bad you can't woo me. You can't. Okay, dare. Show me something. Show me something you've never shown anyone else. Well, you're about to send me a video many other people have. Wraith looking uncomfortable. I'm sorry, that's a bad dare. Too vague. It's just truth or dare makes me feel I'm just... Thanks for being patient with me. I need to try being more open with people. Starting now. Wraith clears his throat. the way that a lazy writer would make him do if they wanted to signify something important and different was coming up. Let's see if we're right. Do you have my bell? I want to show you something. We were right. Take a drink. Is this not a drinking game? Damn, missed opportunity. Maybe that's what I'll do at one point for this. You reach for it, but it's gone. I swear I had it. I don't know what could have happened. We'll need to find it But Claudette and Dwight, if something burst in and interrupt. They seem like they have a very dramatic announcement. We have a very dramatic announcement. See? Told you so. But it needs to take place at the beach. What? You arrive at the beach, but something feels off. You can't put your finger on it, but you feel uneasy and cold. And here's why. Spirit appears as if from nowhere. Hey Kyle, bet you didn't expect this hot piece of sass. What, goth girlfriends can't make silly, sexy puns from time to time? Dwight and Claudette, scram! Yeah, I use those two symbols to dupe you. You're easy to dupe. Maybe because deep down you wanted to be duped. There's no way Wraith can be keeping you happy. Spirit's usual disaffected nature has given way to some combination of disgust and desperation. One sec. Oh, alright. Sorry. Spirit's usual disaffected nature is giving way to some combination of disgusted and desperation. And it's kind of working. Wraith's a fake. He's not even a real ghost. He only pretends he doesn't want people to care about him, but that's all he wants. He wants more than anything. Can you imagine wanting something so cringe? You're literally the same person! I bet he won't even tell you about this theory about this island. What a fake. You deserve to be someone real. A real ghost. Someone who really doesn't give a shit. Someone who doesn't care if you say yes or no to me. One second. Oh, I can't save. You are a tiny bit of a hypocrite here, Spirit. I'm not, well, what a hypocrite. If you really don't care, why'd you go into all this trouble to try to win me over? You storm back to Wraith. As you walk away, Spirit mutters something under her breath. Knowing her, it's almost certainly about revenge. Yeah, look, I'm not... I'm repping my boy Wraith. I liked playing this guy a lot in DVD, so we're going the Wraith route. You came back. Nobody ever comes back. Wraith is shook. Are those tears welling up in his eyes? You can't tell, because he looks away. There's a sniffle, and he looks back at you beaming. I want to show you something. Follow Wraith to the corner of the ruins that you haven't seen. He brushes aside some dead leaves and branches, revealing a hatch in the ground. Oh, want to do the honors? You open the hatch with some effort and lower yourself into a long tunnel, grabbing onto a rusty ladder and beginning your descent. Be careful! You descend into a spooky, dimly lit room. It looks like an ancient ritual chamber with torches, tapestries, engraved skulls, and animal remains. One end is a set of intricately carved locks and cuck mechanisms on the wall. A torture area? Sure. Torture. Also, that's the same symbol that was on that gold coin. The other end is a table with books, potions, and maps. Okay, so I appreciate whoever did the art for this, because that's just a bench. That's like a spanking bench. Anybody who asks me why I recognize that, I'll half a second. For the obvious reasons. Look at the map. Look at the book. I'm gonna look at the book. Actually, I'm gonna look at the map. Unfurl one of the large rolled pieces, revealing a detailed map of the island. It's all here. Trapper's Cave, Spirit's Lighthouse, Huntress Cabin. All the common areas. Even IP Island up in the corner with little hearts drawn around it. I figured out the layout of the entire island. I need to know what it is I'm trying to escape from. Look at the book. Pick up one of the larger light-around books and Wraith walks over, opening to a specific page. You see incantations, symbols, a drawing of the someone chained to a wall. Different language you can't read except for the words. Call to the Black Veil. Conveniently, the words are exactly the language you can read. Everything I found out, I think these are the ruins of an ancient cult. They seem to be devoted to some kind of sentient evil. I think this used this island, or maybe the person they worshipped did. I think they used this ritual site to travel to and from the island. I think they sacrificed people on this torture wall in order to open some kind of portal out of here. Look at the wall. Walk over the wall and examine the change in locks. It looks like some kind of torture wall. Wow, what happened to the people here? Did they keep prisoners? It looks like they were tortured, but from what I've been able to dig up, something more ritualistic serving a larger purpose. I have reason to believe those prisoners weren't alive for long. And that's why I've got the spanking bench? Do you think the cult of the Black Veil is still around? Are we in danger? I'm about to be sacrificed, aren't I? I don't know. Maybe, but I have a plan. All we need... And Rice, you're about to get some of that sweet information you've been lusting after. Claudette and Dwight pop in again. This time they swear it's a good reason. I promise we're not being manipulated this time. Honest. It's time for dinner, you silly gooses. Come get some food. Dwight, for the last time, the plural of goose is geese. Sorry, I keep forgetting. Oh, what a fun day you've been having. I can see it written all over your face. You're shining. And that's not just the remaining anxious sweat from spending an afternoon courting a psycho killer. No, you really are feeling this whole romantic experience. Don't worry, I'll keep your dirty little secrets. But enough gentle ribbing, it's time to get back to business. All the, appetizing singles have arrived for dinner, including Trickster. Wraith is here too. We're not going to do the dag where we cram them all on screen at the same time again, so just believe me. They're all here, and they're just as sexy and demented as you remember them. To your level on the line, everyone is being very careful not to offend you by saying the wrong thing. I doubt it. Congrats, by the way, on getting this far. I'm as surprised as you are that these four are falling for you. No, not because of your personality, but because you just met them yesterday. However, since Huntress seems like the biggest long shot to end up holding onto your heart, she cuts caution to the wind and speaks up. It's a pretty small consolation prize for being the least loved killer on Murderer's Island, but hey, letting them have this one moment of spotlight is the least we can do, and heaven we know they won't do any better than that. Since it seems like I'm going to be alone forever, I'm focusing on myself. I have hobbies of my own, you know? Besides stealing, kidnapping, and killing, cooking is my passion. Tonight we'll be feasting on succulent squirrel appetizer, with roasted elk as the main, served with a side of mushrooms. Those mushrooms are probably poisonous. An elk, huh? More revenge for the elk that killed her mother. If I have a nickel for every revenge-obsessed killer on this island, I'd have some number of nickels. Certainly more than a few. You'd have 2 nickels! I personally hunted, killed, and skinned and prepped our meal. I even picked the mushrooms myself. Oh, they're definitely poisonous. And cheesecake for dessert. What, not Russian enough? I'm not so one-dimensional, you know. Dinner will be served shortly, but certain power brokers would like to know about your day. Would you like to share your day with any of the rest of the group? I've had an interesting day for sure. But how will you describe it to the others? Say too much or too little and it could affect your standing with the group. Okay, but don't just sit there saying nothing. Nothing is not an option. I'm not going to say shit about the hatch. Great time and played cornhole. I won't tell you who won, but we both did, in a way. Everyone rolls their eyes. Talk about sexy. No, really, if you're going to tell a story, talk about something steady instead of whatever that was. Ray smiles. We're strangely good at getting him to do that. Dwight and Claudette bring out dinner. Everyone eats in silence. No one trusts anyone now, and they're all very tired. Oh wait, no, sorry. That's a dreary supernatural horror thriller set in Antarctica, not a charming parody dating sim set in an undisclosed tropical paradise. Bony appetit. Don't you mean Bond? No. Almost everything we serve has a lot of bones in it. Even the vegetables. It's kind of impossible to avoid on this island. Everyone eats without speaking. Tensions are rising, both the sexual and the deadly variety. Everyone finishes. Dwight and Claudette come back to clean up the table. They linger around you as they pick up your plate, take your napkin, dust crumbs off the table. What would you like to say to the servants? Thanks. Your top-notch service is much appreciated. Everyone, if you'd please be so kind as to follow us to the fire pit, we'd greatly appreciate it. We've been told something big is going to happen, something that will change everything. Am I going to be roasted over the fire pit? You can go willingly or you can go unwillingly. You have no choice. Tough cookies. Do you have a choice on how you said that, dweeb? Yes, I immediately regret how I did. Good. Something needs to change around here. Fire is rebirth. Fire illuminates the soul. I hope the fire isn't too smoky. Smoke hurts my eyes. I have pretty sensitive eyes. I'm also horribly afraid of it, I mean. The fire, not my eyes. Because of childhood trauma involving fire. And finally, everyone starts moving towards the fire pit, if only to get away from Wraith's complaining. Take a seat on a comfortable log, feeling the fire seat against your skin. Wait for the other killers to take their places, wondering who will want to tell a story this time. Will the narrator tell a story? I bet they've got a stunningly creative mind. Hey, you think? Are they simply allowed to place thoughts in my mind like this? Doesn't seem fair. Everyone makes their way in, but something unexpected happens. Nothing. Nothing happens. Something almost always seems to be happening here, so nothing is probably not a great sign. Oh, cool. Now everyone's looking at you. So, you know, do something. Should I pick someone to tell a story? We could play charades? Or Boggle? Well, we were actually thinking, why don't you tell us a story? Wraith points his skull and staff thing on a jig at you. You duck out of the way. Who knows what that thing can do? Probably shoots lasers. Try not to bore us. We're just very interested in you. Don't speak for me, Huntress. Now you can't tell if you were warm from the fire or if it's your nerves heating up. Not the fire is right here, but maybe if we stop talking about it all of the time, we can start to pretend it's not here and doesn't, you know, threaten to burn us all alive. He's not supposed to hear me. Get out of here, Wraith. Kyle's about to make an important decision about telling a story or not. I'll tell a story. Fine, I'll tell a story. I'm going to tell a story. I hope it's a mystery. Why are you here? Adventure. Alright, you like Drain the Walk Johnson movies? How about some adventures? Now we're talking. It's not my favorite, but I respect your choice and will nod politely. You don't have to say that, Wraith. Just nod politely. Okay, ready? Here it goes. I really like to go fishing. Solid hobby, great foundation for a story. I had to tell an adventure story. Oh, man. Okay, 1 second. Settings. I'm going to turn in the volume for just... I'll turn this back up in just a second. So, I want to quickly tell the tale of Telephone Gap for anybody... So this is... do I tell the tale of... Yeah, I'm going to tell the tale of Telephone Gap. So, growing up, I did Boy Scouts. In retrospect, I kind of wish I'd actually done more scouting stuff, right? I kind of want to start doing camping and stuff again as an adult. But this is actually a story about a trip that I did not go on. And so, but I heard it later and it's a good story. So every year my troop would do what they called the Long Trail. And the Long Trail was a 1 week, 5 day, 50-mile hike. And it might be a little different each year. One of the ones that I actually went on one year was like a 70-mile canoe trip. That was kind of cool. That has its own stories associated with it. But the Long Trail was one of the other ones. And so before the Long Trail, they have something called a shakedown. And the purpose of the shakedown hike was just sort of like train you up for the Long Trail. Excuse me. The idea is being that if you can't do the shakedown, then you probably won't be able to actually finish the Long Trail, right? Because if you're dead after 2 days of 10 days of hiking, it's scouting. Obviously, the adults are never going to be like, okay, we're just going to abandon this child on the side of the road. So long, sucker. Only the strong survive. But it's also hey, everybody here is here to do a nice big long hike. We don't. If you're not in physically good shape enough to be able to do 10 miles a day, hiking and carrying a pack full of equipment, you can't come on the hike, right? So, I believe, if I remember correctly, the story takes place sort of at not the middle of winter, but not early spring, probably after the depths of winter. And again, I grew up in New Hampshire, so it doesn't get super duper cold. That's a lie. It does get pretty cold, but if you're from Canada, it gets pretty cold. So, and when you're hiking in the winter, there's other things that suck about it. Probably one of them is that you end up super sweaty, but you can't really take anything off, because if you take everything off, then it'll just sweat will freeze on you, and then you get really cold again. So you got to keep all your stuff on. So the group as a whole is doing this shakedown hike, right? And they're hiking in the winter. If you've ever been hiking before, you probably know that you usually want to plan your route out in advance for a couple of reasons. You plan your route out in advance, you tell people where you're going, right? You tell people when you expect to get there and when you expect to get back. And the reason you do this is because if something goes wrong on the hike, then let's say that you go out for 4 days or so. And I'm going to be honest, these next numbers I'm going to get kind of wrong. But the short version is you can actually survive for quite a while, without food. You'll feel like shit. right? But if you get lost or if something goes wrong on a hike, what you do is you stop moving and you wait for someone to come find you. The reason being that as long as you do that, right, and you've shared your plan and stuff in advance, somebody's going to go, okay, they were supposed to go out for 3 days. It's been 4 days. I haven't heard back from them. They'll say, hey, they'll call that. Somebody will send out a search party. And if you're lost, as long as you're not super, super lost, like off the trail, right, the search party will come out and they'll find you, right, eventually. And because you haven't gotten like super lost, you're not going to be actually super far from where they're looking. So it narrows it down. It makes it much safer. Now, there's not like a caveat or a catch to this, but the other thing is it can be kind of hard to know where you are. And so on this particular trip, my group of friends is like, all right, so our goal is simple. We're going to go from start of the trailhead to a point. We know that there's a sign that where the trail splits. There's a route that says Telephone Gap. We're going to go out from the trailhead. We're going to go down to Telephone Gap. We're going to go from Telephone Gap down to the site. We're going to camp there, and then we're going to come back, right? I think we'll do like the rest of the loop, and we'll get picked up at the end. And so they set out, and they start hiking. And it's the winter, and it's snowy, and it starts to snow. And snow is bad because it's going to kill your visibility. And it's going to kill your ability to see the trailhead. And there's not as many people on this trail in the winter. If it was a different time of year, you'd be able to see where you're going. But you can't anymore. So now you're just sort of trudging through the snow. And they get to a point, and they're like, okay, guys, we've been hiking for like 2 hours right now on this path. We should have really hit we would have expected to have already hit this trailhead split, right? We know that like from the trailhead split, it's still a couple more miles to the site. We should have hit the split by now, but maybe because of the snow, we're not making as good time as we can. So we'll keep going. Like they can still see blazes on the trees, which are those little markers. They know that they can keep going. And so they take a little break, they pack up, and they keep going again. Bit by bit, bit by bit, bit by bit. Been hiking for like another 30 minutes. They still haven't hit the trail junctions. They've been hiking like for 2.5 hours. Like, okay, keep going. Another couple hours. They're like, okay, it's been like 5 hours now. Like, yes, our progress has obviously been slowed down because of like the snowstorm and the fact that we're traveling in snow. We haven't got as much time as we do want to. But clearly we have missed the trailhead turnoff, right? So now we've got to figure out what we need to do. We got to figure out where we are. So they look at the map and they're like, okay, so we must have missed the turnoff Telephone Gap. And given that that's the case, they're like, okay, we missed the turnoff Telephone Gap. We're probably maybe a mile or two past it, maybe further. We probably don't want to go back. What we'll do is we'll go forward based off where we think we are. There's another trailhead. We can turn off that and loop around, right? And we'll keep an eye out for the markers. And so they keep going. And finally they get to like a break in the path, and they're looking around and they can see that there's like a trailhead up ahead, but it's got a bunch of snow on it. And they're like, okay, so at this point we must have hiked like 10 miles in the snow in the middle of the winter. It's starting to get dark out. They're like, hey, Connor, who's one of the younger scouts at the time, like, hey, Connor, like, we're all fucking wrecked. We're going to go sit down. Go check the sign. Let us know where we are, right? And once we know where we are, then we'll figure out what we're going to do. If we're going to turn around or if we're going to keep going, we got to figure it out. It's getting late out. It's getting dark. It's getting harder to see the trail. And they send Connor over, and so he goes over and like he brushes the snow off the sign. And he's looking at it, and he comes back and he goes, guys, they're like, what's on the sign, Connor? And he's like, well, I don't think you're gonna like it. And they're like, well, what do you mean? What's it say? And he's like, it says Telephone Gap. So in like 5 hours, they had covered a very small portion of the amount of space they had, and they would still have to cover the rest of that space to actually get to the campsite. And that's the story of Telephone Gap, otherwise known as the time everybody just sort of died in the middle of the fucking woods. Not actually, though. They were all fine. But they basically were making pace like about, I think, like a quarter to half to a quarter as fast as they thought they were. Anyway, back to the visual novel game. Solid hobby. So basically, they're talking about fishing. Solid hobby, great foundation for a story for sure. You pause. Everyone is waiting with bated breath, but no pun intended. Oh wait, that's it? Not much of a story. Barely even a thought. My pun was better than that story. You sure that's all you have to say? No, you were kidding. No, I was kidding. So what type of story do you want to tell? Action. Here's an action-packed yarn for you. The time I got into a bar fight. The group is interested. They lean in. I'm all ears. And I'm talking about the bucket of them I have on my boat. You crack open a bottle of beer by smashing the bottle cap off on the nearest rock before starting. I'm at the local watering hole, powering up my regular 12 beers before I slay at the pool table. Slay is good. Steely Dan blasts from the jukebox. The bartender's tip jar is filled to the brim. I pound the final pint to smash the glass on the counter as I demand more shots for the entire joint. The patrons cheer for me. I am their god. Suddenly, I hear the telltale revving of engines outside. Motorcycles. The saloon doors spring open. Wait, it's a saloon now? And in watched my arch nemesis, Big Slim, the giant of North Toledo. He sounds sexy. Thought I smelled something acrid from Akron when I hopped off the hog, Slim says with a sneer. I get up from my stool, the gal behind me rubbing my shoulders, revving me up for the inevitable fight. A long way from home, aren't we, Slim? What are the fine people of Elm Street going to do without someone to sell them someone's second-hand cufflinks tonight, I taunt him. He strokes his oily beard. This story has a lot of specific geographic references in it. I have a perfectly good job at the pawn shop. Why are you coming at me like this? Slim yells. That's fair, I scream back. Why do we even hate each other? I can't remember. Something about me cutting you off in traffic, but it was a misunderstanding, Slim yells. Well then, let's hug it out, I say, as tears start to well in my eyes. And we made up! What about the bar fight? Oh yeah, we got in a real blowout fight later. Really yelled our proverbial heads off. But it was just an argument about whether or not you should say pop or soda. Come on! I gave up headlining at Coachella for this. Spirit laughs hysterically. Probably laughing at you, but it's a laugh you're ready to accept. That sure was kind of a story, technically. Okay, wasn't a really good story. I don't mean to insult you, but it was actually quite bad. Sorry, but the narrator keeps it real. We can't end here. So who else would you like to hear a story from tonight? You look from killer to killer to try and decide who would be the most entertaining. I want to hear spirits. I suppose I could tell a story. I don't really want to, but anything I say is sure to be better than whatever you got out of anyone else in this group. Like all good stories, I stole this one from someone in the past who is dead now and can't do anything about it. It's called the fiancé. One winter, a young couple decided that next spring they should be married. The two were madly in love and could not wait for the snow to melt, so they could join in matrimony and unite their souls for eternity. Per the latest bridal trends, they decided to have their wedding ceremony at the edge of the woods by a beautiful shabby chick farmhouse. Together they spent months planning the details of the wedding. The two created invitations, figured out seating invitations, and tasted 100 cakes before settling on the perfect one. They chose Lilikoi, by the way. So fancy. It came time to figure out the decorations, however, the fiancé, I guess, since she wasn't married yet, wanted to take the lead and set the style. After all, her boyfriend had been wearing cargo shorts and open-toed sandals for pretty much their entire relationship, so he was definitely not to be trusted. Having decided on such a lovely natural setting for the ceremony, the fiancé decided that she would create unique floral arrangements from the local wildflowers that surrounded the farmhouse. As soon as the sun rose on the first day of spring, she set off into the woods. Each day she spent hours mapping out where the blessed blooms could be found and prepared to pick them herself the morning of the wedding, so they'd be at the height of freshness and beauty. Enamored by the incredible variety of flowers in the woods she surveyed, the fiancé, since they hadn't been married, became obsessed with knowing just how many there were so she could choose the absolute best. When the fateful morning of her big day finally came, the fiancée told her husband-to-be that she had just one final errand before the wedding. The ceremony came, she just in her beautiful white gown and set off into the woods to gather flowers. Treading carefully, she followed her route, selecting only the best stems and collecting them in a basket. However, when she came upon a once familiar clearing, something was not as she expected. Somehow, it was more beautiful now than it had ever been, and just on the edge of her view was a new bush filled with blossoms so vibrant and colorful she became dizzy just looking at them. But the fiancé ignored her son's spell and pressed ahead, scooping up flower after flower, and each time she did, she nosed just further ahead, implausibly, lay even more beautiful blossoms. Carried by the sweet fragrance of spring, the bride, or the fiancé, crept further and further into the woods before she turned a corner, stepped over a mossy tree trunk, and realized she'd been here before. But this wasn't the clearing she'd remembered, at least not how she'd remembered it. The flowers were suddenly overripe, decaying, falling from their stems into festering moldy piles on the floor. Where bees had buzzed, now only flies. Where the scene of flowers had once intoxicated her, the odor of the mildew mail made her sick. She turned and looked back, but the path was dark. Into a shadowy glen she walked and walked and walked. That day, as the guests gathered at the farmhouse, the fiancée was nowhere to be seen. Her friends, family, and love began to look for her, but to no avail. They searched the pasture, the tree line, into the forest, but there were no beautiful wildflowers or young lovers to be seen. Just dead old trees, trampled vines, and moss-covered rocks. The fiancé started fiancé for eternity, always wandering, looking for fresher blooms to clip, but never finding them. Distracted by a never-ending search for perfection, unable to see that you are loved for who you are, out there all alone. I thought it was beautiful and sad. Just like somebody we know. How was story time? A lot of people like to take pot shots at sequels, but I think every good story deserves a follow-up. When you think it's the end, the sequel is almost never rewarding as the original. That's why I'm much more a fan of the episodic style of storytelling. Knowing it's a series takes a lot of pressure off into the individual installment and builds a greater sense of community between audience and creator. I can't tell... Okay, diatribe for a moment here. I can't tell if they're poking fun at the concept of horror movies, which this game is based off of, or the individual installments of each portion of Dead by Daylight, but I want to do like a quick rant here, right? Like, as you can tell by... I know some of the lore for Dead by Daylight. I find it kind of amusing, but I wouldn't say I find it super interesting. The same I'd say is true for things like Five Nights at Freddy's or stuff like that, right? Or Hunt Showdown. Hunt Showdown is another game that does kind of the same thing, which is that... I don't know, let me compare, let's say, Hunt Showdown to Elden Ring, right? Is that Elden Ring or Bloodborne, even, right? Bloodborne. Okay, so also spoilers for Bloodborne and Elden Ring. So if you don't want spoilers for those games, I'm just going to talk about Bloodborne in relation to this actually for a moment. So there seems to be a trend of these live service, not like indie games, but like things like Hunt Showdown, Dead by Daylight. Are there any other ones that I can think of that sort of do this? Apex Legends, League of Legends. They don't actually tell stories or narratives. They'll build worlds and they'll do like little animatic cutscenes, right? But there's never a conclusion or advancement. Dead by Daylight has been out for a while at this point, and despite all of that, like, nobody's ever escaped the entity, right? It's like, oh, you get more and more information about like what's going on with the entity, who are people who've watched it, what's it doing, blah 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 blah. But there's never an actual conclusion. There's never an actual finale to any of these points, right? I'd say the same thing is true of Hunt Showdown. You build up this atmosphere and this narrative of there's something hidden in the Louisiana bayou that's called the Sculptor, and it's killing people. It's like a combination of zombie plague and reanimation made by the devil. It's taking these corpses and it's recreating them into these forms over and over again. The spider, the butcher, the crow. It recreates them, it rebuilds them each time they're slayed, they come back. Like, League has all this lore, right? All these things that have all this lore, but very rarely does the story actually change or move, right? The status quo always stays the same. It's like certain portions of American comic books, right? You can never have a survivor that escapes the fog, right? That escapes the entity and gets out. The survivors can never win. You can't be like, and this character escaped, and now we're removing them from the game, right? Their stories never end. The only story that gets told is one of perpetual death and murder. It's the same loop over and over and over again. And I find that kind of obnoxious, personally, because it's hard to... It's the same problem I have with... Okay, so here's the thing. It's not quite the same problem I have with American comics. It sort of is, though. The problem is that you can't expect me to be excited by the prospect of building up a world and ideas of character development, or even just building up a world in general, right? If I know that the state of the world is never going to change. Like, the opposite of something like that is Gravity Falls, which is like we're going to build up the setting, and the story as it happens, the world is changing. Things will be resolved. Things will be concluded, right? But if things will never conclude, if there'll never be any meaningful change to the world, it doesn't matter if they come out and say, like, all right, let's say they come out next week and they're like, hey, the entity is a quasi-demonic thing that feeds off fear and suffering. It was transported to Earth 500 years ago. Like, they could give you all the details you want. They could explain everything about how it worked. But it wouldn't matter, because the story demands that the killers hunt the survivors, that the survivors try to outrun the killers, and that the status quo never changes. Now, if you compare that to something like Bloodborne, right, which is, at the outset, it has a bunch of this lore to a certain extent, right? It's a bunch of world building and lore, but the individual characters that you're going to actually encounter throughout playing that game, the Hallowed, Cleric Beast, what are some other good ones? Like Eye of Mensis and stuff like this. Souls games take place in like a big ruined world right after everything has gone to shit and it's all dark. But by the time they conclude, the story has usually moved on. Bloodborne's a little bit of an exception to that, right? Because for two of the endings of Bloodborne, the implication is that Yharnam in its current state is sort of a perpetual illusion projected and maintained by this outer god, right? But the true ending to the game, you kill that outer god. You break the cycle. You ascend. And you as the player will never know what that means. But you as the character move on from just having a mortal body to become something greater. To become, like, arguably it's just a little slug, but it is the state of a larval god, of a greater mind, to achieve that ascension. Anyway, the short version of all of this is that I don't like episodic stuff that tries to set itself up by having a grand world and a grand mystery, but isn't willing to actually commit to doing something with that narrative and just reveals details over and over and over again without actually giving us more to go off of. Back to the game. Knowing it's a series takes a lot of pressure off any individual installment and grows a greater sense of community between audience and creator. Tell me, Kyle, if you could delete any sequel from existence, what would it be? Don't answer that. We don't actually care. We're here to make sure that we seamlessly move to the next segment of the evening. Oh, what sequel would I delete? Hold up, I want to think about this, actually. Let me see if I can save the game here, because I think I'm about to save. Yes. This seems like a good time to... I think this is probably where I'll end the stream for today, because we've played for just about 2 hours. And I'm also obligated to at least play through this entire game once. Oh, if I could delete any sequel in existence. I don't care that you don't care, random people on the screen. Any sequel in existence. What's a series that ended and then picked back up and really shouldn't have? So there's certain obvious ones that I would lean towards. One is, Boruto. Okay, this is going to be kind of unpopular. But there's a sequel going on right now that I don't like that the sequel is happening, even though I haven't read the sequel. I know that sounds like I'm full of shit, but I would get rid of the sequel to Chainsaw Man. Not because I don't like Chainsaw Man, but because Chainsaw Man finished, and I was happy with its finish. Like, by the time that series ended, it had gotten kind of ridiculous. And I refuse to accept that expanding that world's story is going to give us too much. Because by the end of that series, it had gotten absolutely insane. So, no spoilers, but I think that, in my mind, this goes back to that thing I was actually just ranting about before this. I like stories with conclusions. I like stories with endings, right? Like most people, I like happier stories more, right? But I find, like, eternal slogs of never-ending whatever to be worse than stories that end badly. See, for example, the entire ending arc of Beastars, which goes completely fucking insane. I'm going to go back to the main menu real quick, actually. Any sequel in existence. If I deleted Dota 2, I'd get 5,000 hours of my life back. Is there a sequel to a game that I really hate? Let me look through my Steam library real quick. Risk of Rain was good. Risk of Rain 2 was much better. Maybe if I look in my dead game category. Nope. God, I have so many. Maybe Borderlands 2, because then I wouldn't have spent money on it. I'd be up $60. Sorry, you guys can't see this. Yeah. Technically, like, if you're like, you can delete any sequel, just because then you don't have to deal with it. Probably something like Boruto, just because I would have liked it if Naruto had just ended, and then I didn't have to, like, see that every now and then. But, hey, people like what they like. Regardless, that's going to be where I end the stream for today. If you enjoyed my shit, like and subscribe. I'm going to be honest, I don't even know what the point of saying that is. There's no way somebody's sitting through 2 hours of this. But yeah, if you like my stuff, look at the scrib. If you've got feedback or thoughts or comments, actually, please do let me know in the comments. I'm still trying to work and improve on a bunch of this stuff. If you hated everything, let me know what I can do to make it better. And I will probably try to play through... This probably won't be scheduled. Well, maybe I will schedule it for parts of next week. But I will try to play all of... I'll try to at least finish a run of Hooked on You. So, until next time, take care, and I'll see you then. Bye for now.